Welcome to Face It and Fix It. Our next guest is the president of the Barbados Association of Retired Persons, Marilyn Rice-Bowen. Marilyn, are you there with us? Forgive me for
Yes, I am.
switching up your name. My apologies. But I must say before we start, I need to get to BARP to get my card. I was most embarrassed the other day when someone says, Joy, you can get a discount. You got your BARP card? I'm like, oh, shoot. So I'm 2 years behind. It's 50 and up, right?
Yes, of course.
Right. So I'm 52 in December. So I think I'm going to give myself the gift of a BARP card so that I can enjoy all of the discounts. You look lovely, by the way.
Thank you. I am trying to look and to generate some life and hope, because we are, as a nation, we are grieving. And prior to our interview, I want to, on behalf of the Board of Directors, the management and staff of BARP, extend our deepest condolences to the families of those persons who have passed as a result of COVID-19. We do hope that their memories be a blessing. It is a difficult time, but we will remember them in prayer as well.
It is indeed a very difficult time. What is BARP's plan and strategy for its members in this COVID-19 environment that we're in?
Okay, what we are doing, are continuing, because we started it in March of last year. We are ramping up our wellness checks, because we recognize the importance of staying in touch with our members, and not necessarily only the senior ones, but all members. We are, calling them to see how they're doing, and to see, of course, if they need any assistance. And when I refer to assistance, I'm speaking about maybe if they need us to make a call for them to ensure that their medication is delivered, or to reach out to a loved one, but we recognize the importance of communication, particularly in these times. And although there isn't a national lockdown or a state lockdown, we want to keep emphasizing to our members that you institute your own personal lockdown for your own safety. So if you're going out 4 days a week, reduce it to 3, then eventually you'll get it down to 1. But let's do our part by, staying at home and staying still. And of course, most importantly, Joyann, following the protocols as well.
Of course. So what does this pandemic reveal for BARP? I mean, because one of the things you just mentioned is communication, communicate more. There are some other things that this pandemic has revealed for your members, things that you may want to do better or should be doing better?
Certainly, because, people often said that COVID reshaped the world, but it reshaped BARP as well, because whereas we were not toying, but we were examining the opportunities to go digital, fully digital, but COVID-19 accelerated that movement. So today you can, and I'll speak to you after the show, because you can join online, you can pay online, and then when you just come to BARP to collect the card if you so desire. But because I would want to welcome you at BARP, I would want you, of course, to come to BARP to collect your card so we can do a photo op as well.
Okay.
However, what it has done is, our way of doing business. And then we also recognize that some of our seniors were being left behind, because you would recognize that once COVID came on the scene, most companies were going digital, and as a result, it was difficult for some of our seniors to keep up. So what we started to do, and we are going to probably before the end of this year, because Christmas is coming, and family members need to stay in touch with their loved ones. We are going to offer programs by Zoom on how to use the Zoom platform to our seniors. And because it's important for them to stay in touch. And well, there's some other things I'll tell you post-COVID. But right now, what's important is allowing them, giving them the exposure to the technology. And one of our first steps is showing them how to use Zoom effectively. And we know that we are confident that once we get through that phase, our members will be communicating with each other more often.
I would just like to find out what is happening in Barbados regarding overseas pensioners who came to Barbados, bought property, and are now living in these large properties by themselves, some of which is in need of repair. Like myself, my roof needs repairing. But you go to the bank and ask for a small loan to do these repairs, and they tell you that, you know, you're too old to have any loans from the bank. Now, these houses are being left to rot. Many of the elderly that I know ran back to the UK, left the houses, vines growing on it. Some of them are becoming derelict because there's nothing they can do to repair these houses. And I'm not talking about big repairs, you know, maybe a roof that needs replacing, windows that might need replacing, and the roof especially, because if the roof is leaking, you can't stay in the house. And I'm wondering if there's anything BARP or anybody can do to encourage the banks to be able to give small loans to elderly people. As a matter of fact, the pensioners from overseas are the ones that are sure, you know, they're getting a fairly good pension. Why aren't they allowed to have a small loan? As a matter of fact, I had 3 loans before 75. No difference now, but you can't get any assistance. Can she help with this?
Okay, Marilyn?
Yeah.
Thanks, caller.
Good
Thanks
morning,
very
ma'am.
much for that.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, first thing, with reference to the banks, you made mention of the overseas pensions being strong pensions, but I want to assure you that all pensions are indeed strong and they are a source of guaranteed income. But with reference to the bank, I can't speak with any degree of certainty as to the age factor, but what I know is the determining factor would be your history and your relationship with the bank. Now, you mentioned that with the houses, you know, being big and all that, it's very difficult. It is extremely difficult to downsize. But what I always suggest to people is there comes a time in our lives when we need to downsize, because sometimes you have rooms in the house that you don't even go into. And maybe now might be a good time for you to consider downsizing, you know, sell the property and get a smaller property that's more manageable. I know that would not be the answer you're looking for, but, you know, I want to keep it very real. And with reference to assistance with roofing, you also mentioned that it's a big property. So big properties and roofs are major projects. And whereas BARP, we had a program we partnered with the Barbados Light and Power, and we assisted some families last year, and we will do so this year again to assist persons with roof repairs and that window and that door. You know, there are some people that we can fix a side in. It's not, the funds are not huge, but we can, you know, we can help some people in a small way to secure their homes. But really, roof repairs are major repairs. So even if, let's say, for instance, we had taken the decision to come and see this lady's roof, I am sure that the funds that we have in hand, and these funds are managed by our trust, BARP Charitable Trust, we would not even be able to probably change quarter of the roof. So we as advocates, we can have that dialogue with the bank, but it is not guaranteed. But what we always suggest to persons is if over the years you've had a relationship with the bank, even although you are retired, because of the relationship you would have developed, sometimes, you can't get the funding that you require. But in the event that you recognize that the property is becoming a bit too much for you to manage, I always suggest downsize. You can get, there's some nice going to buy a condo, whatever, but downsize. There are some properties out there you can get a smaller property and downsize and enjoy life. Because as seniors, we need to celebrate life. And anything that stops us from celebrating, we have to put out of the way.